Weird Realities Network presents Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales, where we pull up a log, roast a marshmallow, and settle in as these two blondes talk spooky tales, urban legends, and classic horror icons. Exciting guests, perky blondes, and sinister tales makes this podcast as good as a double stack s'more. So let's join Bethany and Crystal as they gather around the campfire in Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Season 2
Woo!
of Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales.
Hello.
Thank you, as always, for joining us. We're very excited. As I've been reminded about 20 times today is Valentines Day. Apparently that's like officially a thing now, which I'm pretty sure just started on Parks and Rec. So go Parks and Rec for, yeah.
Really?
Valentine's Day.
I never saw that.
Valentine's Day being on February 13th is like a thing that was like a thing in Parks and Rec, and it's like gone out into the world now.
So what is it?
It's a day. It's a day to celebrate your female friendships. And
Cool.
On the show, they would celebrate it with waffles.
With waffles.
Okay, what's really funny is today is also Fat Tuesday for Mardi Gras,
And Taco Tuesday.
which stems from Pancake Day.
So today's just all about pancakes and waffles.
Well, yeah.
I guess I wasn't paying attention. I usually pay attention to when Mardi Gras is, but I guess it just totally went past me this year.
Is it done?
It's today.
Yeah.
Wait, it's today?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
good.
it's Fat Tuesday, but yes, Mardi Gras. Yeah.
Oh, snap. You know, this makes so much sense because I had a girl come into work today and she was like, oh, I'm going to a Mardi Gras party. I'm like, oh, that's so random. And she looked at me really funny.
It is super random to go to a Mardi Gras party on Mardi Gras.
Didn't realize there was an actual thing going on. Gotcha.
There might be a reason there, with the blondes. And...
Yeah. No.
Pardon me. Try to keep it at the minimum.
Yeah, Crystal's recovering from a cold, guys, so just
Aw.
bear with that.
So I do have my hot tea, which I've already drank most of. Hopefully it'll last though. So
All
Should
good.
help
Well,
you.
welcome back, Blondes, Bucks, and
Yeah.
I'm blaming the fact that I have Indy's booty in my face right now.
yeah.
And I've been trying to text mom and dad because they always want the link. So I'm trying to send them the link at the same time and post. Okay, welcome back to Blondes, Books, and Campfire Tales Season 2. We're on Season 2. We made it, guys. We're not canceled. Well, yet. So, anyway, we are going to talk about Succubi and Sirens. And compliments to Rikki for coming up with the title for tonight of Valentines, Sirens, and Succubi. Oh my! Oh my!
Oh my.
Oh my! I know we're all channeling George Taki right now. All right, Londa goes, "Hey, strange people, what's up?" Hey, Londa.
All right. So I really think this theme goes both into Galentines and Valentines, because if you're celebrating female friendships, you're celebrating strong women, right?
Exactly.
And what's a siren or a succubus if not a strong woman?
Exactly. I think I put in I don't know if everyone can see the description or not. I don't know how it goes out there, but I put in the description, succubi and sirens. Are they just passionately, or I'm sorry, are they givers of passionate doom, or are they just misunderstood? You know what? You don't know. You don't know what's going on with these guys.
Yeah.
I feel like they get a bad rap.
I think they do get a bad rap. I think something that kept coming up in my research and my thoughts with like the succubus, anyway, I've apparently decided that's who we're talking about first, is succubus have a tie back, like in their mythology, to Lilith. And if you're not familiar with Lilith, she's considered, like, by Jewish mythology, basically to be the first wife of Adam. She's the reason there's 2 creation stories in Genesis where, like, they talk about God created man and woman, and then they talk about God creating man and woman again. It discusses that 2 different times in Genesis. And so according to this mythology, the reason it discusses it 2 different times is because the first story is talking about when Lilith was created, and then Lilith was too rambunctious and rebellious, so then she got sent off and out of the Garden of Eden, and Eve was created from a rib of Adam. So I'm not trying to mess with anybody's beliefs of anything, but that's the mythology.
Yeah, you're just sharing the mythology on that.
Yeah. So when they're talking about how Lilith is related to Succubi, she's with this mythology, she's considered to be the first demon. A succubus is a demon that preys on the sexual appetite of men. And so basically it does have a lot to do with, like, Lilith's sexuality, and she did not want to be underneath Adam during intercourse. She wanted to be on top, and that was seen as her trying to take over and be in power of him, and basically take away his masculinity. So now the succubus that came from her, they are they're preying on men's sexuality and seducing them, oftentimes in sleep. And it's because Lilith couldn't just lay there and be still. So
where did you find that at?
Huh? Down with the patriarchy.
Basically, yes. Down with the patriarchy.
Just gonna put Blind Mike. He goes, "Why are you not on Facebook?" We should be on Facebook. I tagged my folks in it on Facebook, Mike. So I'll go on and I'll tag you on it too. Just bear with me.
Weird. Let's see. I mean, I've known about the mythology of Lilith for quite a while. But just during doing my research on Succubus, it came up on a few different websites, on a couple of different YouTube channels talking about that. So I just think, it is in relation to the Succubi, that's the most I've ever really seen discussed when it comes to the mythology of Lilith, about, like, what she was doing sexually with Adam. Mm-hmm. And that being why she got kicked out. But usually it is, like, a lot of times it's like, oh, she tried to be kind of like how Rick said, it's about the patriarchy. She was trying to be equal with Adam. And so she got kicked out because women aren't supposed to be equal to men. Blah, blah, blah.
Dang. We've been fighting this since the beginning. What the heck?
Since the beginning. Yeah.
Literally. In creation, it is known that women have been fighting for independence and equal pay. So.
Yep.
Mike, I don't know if it helps you, but Londa says that she had to go to Facebook Live videos to find us. So I don't know how it comes through on everyone's end. I know when I create the link, it gives me an option to stream to different things. And I always choose the same 3 ones every single time. It's always the Weird Realities Network, Facebook, Twitter, and
YouTube.
YouTube, yes. So I always select the same thing each time. So I don't know why it comes through differently each time. And sorry, Mike, it's not putting my notifications. I'm sorry, Mike. Hopefully you were able to get the link right there. But I can add you to the list when I do my folks and tagging them. I can add you, Mike, if you want me to. For Succubus, when I was looking it up, okay, my notes on it was that basically it's a demon or a supernatural entity.
Yep.
It mostly in a female form. If it comes in a male form, then it's an incubus. And basically they appear in dreams to seduce men, typically through sexual activity. And then it says, according to religious tradition, a succubus needs semen to survive. So I don't know. That kind of sucks.
It's the same. It's a semen demon, as opposed to it's a different take on a vampire, I guess.
Are you just laughing at the rhyming there, Crystal?
Yeah. Rhyming of semen demon. Yes, I am. I don't know about you guys, but the thing that kept occurring to me is that this was just a medieval way to explain nighttime ejaculations.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, what are on most men's minds all the time?
Right?
It wasn't me. It was the succubus.
Yeah, well, especially like, and I think just thinking as like an American and our very puritanical background, like to the Puritans, like something like that is just like, you shouldn't be doing that. And obviously it's just a natural thing. Men can't control it. It happens. But it's like very much a demonized thing when you're looking at a very puritanical culture. So it's like, yeah, it's a demon. It's not my fault. It's a demon.
Just kind of always blaming it on someone else.
Yeah.
Sorry, my cat found his toy. So if you hear a weird ball going around, it's just going to be crazy town in my house tonight. I did find some of the references you were talking about, Kristen, with the religious backstory right there.
Yeah.
And then just a couple other backstories around the world. Let's see. For Buddhists, in the Buddhist scripture regarding prayer, it promises to those who pray that you will not be attacked by demons who either suck your energy or make love to you in your dreams. Like it provides a prayer to stop that from that. And then Arabian mythology. Let's see. I can't pronounce it. It's like a Quarina.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleeps with the person and has relations during sleep, as is known by dreams. They are said to be invisible, but a person with second sight can see them, often in the form of a cat, dog, or other household pet. Okay.
Rick's like, where's my cat?
I know, we're all like... only certain people are possessed, and such people cannot marry or how'd you pronounce it? Quarna will harm them. So, man, like, talk about laying claim right there. Like, they can't have anyone else. Lena's like, ew.
No. Another one that I came across is Lamia.
Uh-huh.
And she's Lamia is a person, or I don't know if person's quite correct, but in Greek mythology. And I came across her a couple times, but they bite. And just in case, like, you guys know I use this book a lot. So she was the queen of Libya. And Hera got mad at her because she became a victim of Zeus's libido. So basically Zeus raped her. Hera got mad and cursed her. That happens a lot in Greek mythology. And she took all of Lamia's children from her. So then she was transformed into a creature that feasted upon the children of man. And she later became a boogie woman of sorts that misbehaving children were threatened with. And she, like, another one of her curses, it doesn't, like, this book is just very, like, quick bits about stuff, but another one of her curses is that she couldn't sleep, but she was finally found a way to sleep was to take out her eyes. So, she has removable eyes, which is fantastic. She definitely is very associated with, like, water demons and things as well. So she kind of ties in, but, like, she would go and she would seduce the men in their sleep and everything as well. So it's very succubus, but she also had the water demons in. So she really does kind of tie in both succubus and sirens. Like, succubus and sirens are very closely related, like more closely related than I realized before researching for this episode.
Yeah.
What's funny is your description. I hadn't put this together on that before, but with your description, it does have a La Llorona type vibe to it as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like that connection.
Continuing with that, by the way, though some versions of the Lamia do describe her as a malevolent figure, others also see her as a tragic figure of circumstance, to loneliness and despair. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of going back to the Egyptian, Dad goes, maybe that's why Egyptians like cats so much.
Dude. Our family.
We say, Andy's over here like, what's going on, guys? What's happening?
He's like, hey, usually you're pushing me away right now.
I know. You got Halo there, Rikki?
Yeah, she's right here.
How's she doing? She was at the vet for a little bit, right?
No. She just went there for a checkup and stuff. So
okay.
She's fine.
I don't see Olive tonight, though, Crystal.
Yeah, she's down at my feet.
Oh.
I don't know why. Oh, I think because her ladder got covered by the comforter. Maybe if I move that, she'll go back up on the bed. Yeah, she has a ladder to climb up onto the bed because she has arthritis.
Aww.
Oh, yeah. I used to have kitty stairs for Xena.
Yeah. Well, I guess not. I guess it's stairs, not a ladder.
Yeah.
But whatever. I knew what I was thinking in my mind.
But it's kind of cool that they can all take different forms too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's kind of neat and that could be where some of the folklore of like shapeshifters and things like that come from as well. Kind of relating into that.
Yeah, because they need to like take in and
Sorry, we're all reading Mike's comment.
Yeah, the person Lamia. I mean, I think like reading more about. I think that the mythological like Lamia, like shapeshifter, I think is like connected probably to the person Lamia. Like it just makes sense to me, but I didn't dig too deep into that. So yes, definitely not to be confused with the other Lamia.
Now, Bethany, you're kind of a Potterhead as well. And isn't in not the Harry Potter, but the other extended versions of that with the ones that came out with Voldemort and them, their history. Wasn't a Lamia one of that was the one that turns into the snake permanently in the later years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. The one that turns into whatever he calls. I can't remember her name, but yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I can't remember either right now.
Yeah, she was a Lamia, and he trapped her in her snake form, which made me think when I was watching those movies, like, how long do snakes live?
I mean, it depends on the size.
Yeah. Like an anaconda have a different timeline than a rattlesnake.
Yeah, reptiles and sharks can just continuously grow, and they'll fit their environment. So, I mean, like you're about to say with the turtles and stuff, they can be pretty long-lived, right?
Yeah. Well, desert tortoise can be, 100 years old?
Yeah. It's like
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those are a pet that once, like, those are going to be in your family for generations if you have a tortoise.
You will your tortoise to your kids.
You are their pet.
Right? It's more that you're theirs.
So just kind of a different take on this with the Succubus, Incubus, and such for Dungeons and Dragons and gaming, because that's where my back history comes from on a lot of this. They tend to be a different classification between devils and demons, where devils are more lawful. They're all about making deals and stuff, and demons are all about chaos. And the Succubus and Incubus are one and the same. They can be male or female, just whichever appeals to you. And for the same reason, they're trying to get a deal. They're trying to suck your soul. They're trying to get the essence of you out. And that's kind of where they come with their mythology. So, and they also are shapeshifters.
Mike said she had a blood curse put upon her. Her name was Nagini. Yeah, I forgot.
Thank you.
Okay.
Her name completely left my mind.
Yeah.
But I remember
I'm over here like Jennifer, like.
No, that was Yennefer.
Yeah, totally a name like Jennifer.
Yeah. Sounds alike, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember when I was watching those movies, I was like, okay, this timeline is before Voldemort was even born, but she's alive during all of the Harry Potter stuff, and yeah. I was just trying to work out timelines in my head.
Yeah, that's as if you have the power to turn a person to a snake, you can probably make them live longer. So yeah, never know.
Yeah. Actually,
Right.
I think my first exposure to a Alania, like the snake shifter, was probably an Anita Blake book.
Oh,
Circus
Oh
of the
my
Day.
gosh! Flashback right there.
well, I tried to put, on sometimes it shows the little titles on our little screens, and so I put one in there this time, and it was Incubus Dreams, which was the very first Anita Blake book that came out.
Yeah.
So,
No, it wasn't. Guilty
Wasn't it?
Pleasures was.
oh my word. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, it's been a while.
Incubus Dreams is number 10.
Wow. Okay.
I'm sitting right next to my bookshelf.
You know what? Maybe I read them out of order.
A little bit.
Yeah, at
But
least-
it was similar to the vampire, right? What was his name? It's been like 20 years since I read this series. The vampire was basically kind of a succubus. Like he had to have sex, right?
okay, so yeah, go ahead. You were saying.
Anita kind of becomes one. They don't call her a succubus, but that's basically what she becomes. I don't know how far into the series you've read, but book number 30 just came out.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't read that far. I stopped like 20 years ago. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read as far as that either, but I'm going to. It had been so long since I'd read them. I'm like, I have to start at the beginning, and I'm like on a reread to get caught up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
anyway, a little bit. And they're very involved. But she basically becomes, so she takes like marks from Jean-Claude, the vampire. She gets all these marks from him, and it ends up giving her, they just call it like the hunger, but she basically ends up not in sleep. Like the people aren't asleep, but she basically does feed off of people through sexual activity. So,
yeah.
So she basically becomes a succubus.
So
it's literally, it's called the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series, Mike. Mm-hmm. It's written by Laurel K. Hamilton.
Right.
But she comes across more than just vampires. There's a lot of folklore and creatures in it.
Necromancy and zombies and
that's like
stuff.
That was such a really cool plot line that she had. Oh, hey, Olive, what's up? How you doing, Olive?
Yeah, you do.
But like her basic job was not detective, but kind of detective, but she was a necromancer, and so she would actually raise the dead to answer questions for the living or solve
will or their last rites and testament.
Yeah. And what I really remember is that there's a lot of jogging that she does. She like ran like 5 miles a day, and that's how she was like, the perk is great thighs, and I'm like, yeah. And then she's always making coffee, and like that's what I got from that series.
And she likes penguins a lot. She has a stuffed penguin collection.
Oh yeah. Oh, so Mike did attend that series. I quit reading because she became that's kind of why I stopped. There was just so much in there that I was like, I'm kind of losing some of the plot line.
It does
like the first 6 books are like very chaste, and then it just goes.
Oh, people like this.
And that's totally fine. I was just more of like, I need more of a story. Like I can't. It's the same thing to me. But at the same time, I went through a time that I read a whole bunch of stuff like that. So
it is very spicy.
Spicy. That's what it was. I was looking for that.
And it does follow along the lines of a lot of vampire lore. Games, especially in games, where you were trying to set things apart so that you can have some sort of conflict. And there tends to be turf wars of one nature or another, very political. People who are into Vampire the Masquerade or any of those, it's all very much about power movement and such like that. So in this particular case, they're talking about how she's tied to this one vampire who their whole class is about love or seduction and stuff.
Yeah.
And then you have other ones that are about, they rot and stuff, and they're very hard to kill because of that, and you have other ones that are all about mind manipulation and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, hers just happens to be the succubus stuff.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, when you think about it, a succubus is very much like a vampire. So it makes sense that a vampire, like, would have, like, succubus type things, and that ends up being the power that is passed on to her. So
I love how every show we have, Mike has some cool tidbit about whoever we're talking about. And he cool. met her, at Little Rock.
Who have you not met?
I want to say it was either her or Kim Harrison. I can't remember which one, but they went to the Tucson Festival of Books. And
awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was both. I don't know. It was probably Kim Harrison, actually.
That festival is like some big names sometimes, though, because didn't you meet R.L. Stine there, too?
I have a photo with R.L. Stine. That is a cherished possession of mine. Yeah. It's like my one achieving accomplishment of my whole life right there.
Just look at Olive back there.
She's all, I heard you're talking about succubus.
I am Cleopatra.
Yeah. So I was kind of looking up under Monster Wiki, because I love Monster Wiki.
Oh, yeah.
About the succubi. And apparently they have super speed. They can move faster than the eye can see. They're able to appear and disappear in an instant. That's convenient. I like that. Talk about splitting, like, when you're done, like no time for cuddles. Apparently they have greater strength than a human is able to lift a grown man with one hand. Kind of like what we were talking about with Harry Potter. They have the kiss of death. So that's kind of like a Dementor right there. They have the ability to steal the life force energy from the victims via kiss. It usually results in the death of normal humans. But over time it can be controlled type thing. So if the succubi is new to being a succubi, then they will accidentally kill you. But over time they can control it. They can fight and make love vigorously without tire. I mean, that's nice.
That sounds like a superpower.
Yeah. They can fully heal from most wounds, including stabs and gunshots. Let's see. They're able to grow stronger through intercourse and heal faster due to stealing the life force energy. So very similar to the vampires that we were talking about. Mm-hmm. And then Crystal, like you were talking about with, like, basically wet dreams and stuff. They're able to appear in dreams of men in order to seduce them, or incubus appear in women, or as Rick was talking about Dungeons and Dragons, whatever form they take. They are beyond the beauty of the normal human and are completely irresistible. So no matter what filter you have on Snapchat, you're not going to reach the succubi filter. They have the ability to elicit sexual arousal through touch more quickly. They are immortal, so that kind of answers the whole, how long they last.
Forever.
Yep.
Are you talking about living or while they're feeding?
It just says immortality. As demons, succubi are immortal.
Gotcha.
But that's according to the Monster Wiki. And then the last one is, since they are seducers, they can change shape to match an individual's view of beauty, making it easier to tempt, which brings the whole thing to beauty is in the eye of the beholder, Mm-hmm. So, Mike, Facebook just told me y'all are live.
Hey, it eventually came around.
Welcome to the party.
Came around.
That's how we're into it.
Totally fine. Totally fine.
I was trying to think if there was any entertainment, like movies or series or something that had succubi. And I know Supernatural had a succubus one. And what I thought was funny was the succubus actually took the form for Dean as like the little brother that he didn't have, like the partner that he didn't have. Like they cracked jokes and drank beer and all this stuff. And for Dean, that was his succubus.
No, that was his siren.
Yeah. It was a siren, not succubus?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was the succubus.
This is the one where Dean's like, it's a case that involves strippers, Sam. That was a siren.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So that's a great segue.
Siren, I guess Siren and succubus are very similar then, because
they're very
you
similar.
would be with them during intimate moments, and you would only see that it was one of them through the mirror. Was the only way you could see their true form.
Well, the thing is, succubi tend to be more of the vampire type nature, as in you could be on dry land somewhere, they'll fly to your place and have fun and leave. The sirens, however, are definitely water based. So instead of just a mermaid type, and you have two different kinds. Mermaids tend to be more on the more natural side of things, and then sirens are more, they're going to lure you to your death, type deal, which kind of fits the water demon or the water spirit, like in a lot of Japanese folklore, and then the La Llorona that we were just kind of mentioning. So there's more than just that too, because as we discussed, there's the Lamia, but then there's also like sylphs and nymphs and such. There's I'm trying to. I probably have a thing, but I do remember there was another one that was from Iceland, I think, where they after dark you'll see them and they'll dance, and you know what I'm talking about. They'll dance with you and stuff, but until you hear the gloss sounds about right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they appear as a beautiful young woman, but they have goat feet, and they make you dance until you die.
Yep. But all these tend to be more of the seduction type things. The thing I was looking at is kind of
goat feet is sexy.
Hey, for some.
It says in spite of the goat feet.
They're
wearing a long dress. The long dress hides the goat feet.
Yeah.
Two left feet. Which maybe that's where that term comes from, dancing like you have two left feet, because the Glostig has two left feet.
Probably not, but it works.
I'm going with it.
Tend to be alluring spirits of nature, and their beauty is so beyond compare that seeing them will make you go blind, or kill you, and only like satyrs can see them and not go blind and such. And they tend to be love interests of those. Satyrs tend to be the hyper masculine version, comparatively. There's something from Japan called the Kuchisake Ona, which is one of the Ona.
Yeah.
And you're about to say on that?
No. Like that ring a bell. I heard about that.
Yeah. And I mean, they tend to be a horrifying figure in Japanese folklore, like a woman who's mutilated, mouth preys on unsuspecting victims and stuff. But they also have a seductive nature about them. So they use their beauty aside from that to attract and ultimately destroy their prey. And a lot of them tend to be about that. The Rusalka is an Eastern Europe's enchanting water spirit, very similar in that. The Lara is a Brazil's mesmerizing river nymph. So a lot of nymphs, sylphs, that sort of thing. And then the funniest one I saw was the Loch Ness Monster, and having kind of a romantic cryptid. So here's where it was talking about it. Because, obviously the lesser known romantic side would be, while the Nessie's unexplained phenomenon. Some stories describe the creature's search for love and companionship, revealing a softer side to this elusive being. And then back to one of our previous ones, the chupacabra. Talks about it's beneath its fearsome exterior, the chupacabra is said to possess a passionate nature. So its creatures love affairs with romantic escapades with beautiful young girls. And then the Yeti. It's just going into some of these cryptids, but talking about it like it's this is the thing. So
you know what I just was thinking of as we were talking about all these different, because you mentioned the Selkie, and the Selkie made me remember, I don't remember what it's called, but we were talking before the episode started, and I was telling Bethany, I was like, I'm just picturing this horse, but it's like a we
were talking about the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And she was like, I picture horsewomen, and now describe what you were actually picturing.
So what I was actually picturing, but it's actually relevant to the conversation because, okay, so I was picturing in my head like the top of a horse and then like the bottom of a fish. And then I was like, wait, I think that was in My Little Pony doll I had that was like a mer horse. But in like, I think in like kind of like Norse area, like I don't know, Norway, Scandinavia, some area like that, they have one. It's like a horse creature though that it lures you away and it drowns you in the water.
Yes.
And I know it's not, but I can't
You're
remember
right.
what it's called.
It's not a puka, it's not a silky, and I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Hold on.
And basically
my
it comes
face is about to
from
go super
a
white.
drowned horse, and then its spirit, and yeah, it's once you're in the water, then yeah, it drowns you and such. Mike, I can actually see your response there, and the nine-tailed fox is a kitsune, by the way.
What's a what?
The nine-tailed fox from Japanese myth is a kitsune, and they're also shapeshifters, and they're trickster spirits, more or less. So.
Okay, yeah. So I'm thinking of a kelpie, and
yes,
they wait near the edge of rivers for their prey, which is often young children. Their bodies are magically adhesive, which allows them to drag them into people to drown them. So.
Holy smokes. So kids got like La Lorena and a cute horse? That sucks.
Yeah.
Yes, if you see a horse that's near water, don't try to ride it. No matter how much it wants you to.
I was going to say, if you lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, but apparently it'll take your kid and kill it, so.
Silkies are good. Kelpies are not.
Yeah.
Silkies were cool. In that book, Rick, that series that I used to read that was yours. I would go in your room all the time and steal those books. It was The Dragon and the George, or The Knight and the George.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Dragon Knight series.
Yes. And basically, Crystal, it was like people in our world, and they were with some professor who put this thing on their head, and they got transported to this world of dragons, and they were magicians, but they also had silkies in there. And like the guy was
silkies
actually
are like the ones that like you turn into like a seal, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was such a random series, but I loved it. It was cool. Newt Scott. Oh yeah, from Harry Potter. Ninetales is also a Pokemon. Yeah.
I keep reaching for the can that I showed you earlier.
Oh yes, show off your can.
Yeah.
It is Bunny with a chainsaw.
That's exactly. It's just a cute little bunny holding a chainsaw. Totally harmless.
It says his cuteness will cut you to pieces.
Oh my goodness. So many things with the chainsaw. Like Crystal and I got to talk with Perez Hilton. He had zombies and chainsaws or something.
Wait, was it My Bloody Valentine?
Oh, Zombie with the Shotgun. That's what it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mike Evans, he did Zombies and Chainsaws. That's what he did.
Name drop.
Yeah, right? I'm like, let's get some extra views here, guys. Okay, so speaking of sirens, I'm going to try something. I was playing with Crystal earlier in the screen to see if we could do it, and I sent you the TikTok also.
Right.
Of that siren video. So I'm going to try and share my screen. It's about 1:30, but it's a TikTok video of these guys on a boat out in the sea. And of course, I think Bering Sea, but I don't know where it's at. But they're on like this fishing boat, and they swear they see two sirens on either side, and they hear them calling. And to me, who's like terrified of the ocean, like this creeped me out. It could be real, it could be fake. I don't know, but it scared the crap out of me. And I don't want to think about that. Because just imagine you're on this big old thing of water. It's dark, and you hear this stuff, and you see this stuff on the side of the boat. So bear with me while I try to share my screen.
Now, because we don't receive any money off of this or anything, it should be fine to show it, right? There's no.
Well, it's TikTok, so like that's free, right? Right?
I think
using
we don't
Facebook,
own the
YouTube,
rights
or whatever
to
to show a TikTok.
whatever's about to show. And
I don't think we're that popular enough that they'll care. So Let me see if I've got
I
it
don't
here.
know. Once I started getting views, I got canceled. So
Oh God. Hold on. I'm gonna try and make my screen big. Can you guys see that?
yes, we
Yes.
can. At least
Okay.
I can.
Yeah, Crystal, it's not. Nope, not that. It's not letting me.
I got another one over here. What are those? What the fuck's going on? On each side of the boat? What are those trails called? What's something swimming fast underneath that water? Something swimming real fast underneath that water. I hear him. Where's she at? What the fuck is that noise, bro? What is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my god. That's crazy. That's nuts.
Jump for me.
Yeah. Okay.
When he's like, "Where are you?" Like the horror movie watcher in me is just like expecting like this creature to jump out of the water and like just into his face.
Well. Okay. I'm sorry, Londa, because dolphins on.
Dolphins on that. I mean, it sounds very similar to me, like a whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
So as we were watching this, I thought of something totally mechanical about that.
Mhm.
Where I was working before was near the airport itself, and it was kind of a fly path for a lot of the airplanes, and some of the jets, when they would bank and move, you would hear this weird tune whistle that wasn't on all the time. It was like whoop 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 while they're still the entire way as I provide sound effects, and which was weird. And I was like, are those like, is it changing flaps? Are there kind of a break thing going on? Are they just putting something? Or and I kind of looked it up, and it was kind of like the cavitation of sound, how that is on the airplane, if I understand correctly. And as it's moving, it's hitting that in such a way that's causing this pocket of that sound to kind of travel to you where you are, and then the next set, kind of like that. And so in this case, I was thinking, well, what if the boat, because there's a really loud fishing vessel there, or tugboat type thing, and if it's making this noise, it could be whales or whatever, just kind of responding to it, or maybe it just, as it hits the water at certain times, makes this kind of weird noise as well. Ice does that a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
It will make a lot of weird noises, when there's a lot of it. So I don't know. Or they were just messing around with sound.
I mean, speaking of the mechanics, if you look at the position of where, like I said, I'm not saying this thing is like real or not. I'm just saying it gave a really cool atmosphere of like sirens, So I just thought that was cool. But speaking on the mechanics, like you were talking about, when you look at the position of the sirens on both sides of the boat, it's almost like the stabilizers that some of those boats use during choppy waters sometimes.
Right.
So like they're perfectly positioned the same distance on either side. But that's just getting really critical on it. So like, who knows? But I just, okay.
Well done, though.
Huh?
Well done either way. The video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or the effect.
Whale. Sorry. Okay.
I speak whale.
Speak whale. What was that? Overboard or something?
Nemo.
Yeah, I know. There's Nemo also, but I always think of Down Periscope where he's all. Well, like here's what I think. Okay. I've been on 2 cruises, and both cruises, my favorite thing to do was to go out on the balcony at nighttime when you were just in the middle of the ocean. And that in itself is such like a crazy experience. But at nighttime, you can't tell where the water ends and the sky begins because it's so dark. It is just dark out there. And that's me on a huge cruise ship with thousands of people, and it terrifies me. I cannot imagine being on like a little boat with like 5 other dudes or 5 other people, and you see an experience like that. Like you hear sounds, and that's gonna mess with me. Like I'm home alone by myself sometimes, and like my imagination will mess with me. I can't imagine being in the middle of the ocean and hearing something and just your mind going crazy. So like it makes sense that a lot of people are going to have stories to tell and just be like, no, I'm fully convinced these things are real, because their mind just makes up things, or they experience stuff. Who knows? Or like Rick said, the sounds that you hear out there, you don't know what's creating some of those sounds, but it doesn't mean there's not a good explanation behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
And maybe there's one baked in drunk.
Yeah, that too. Mike says old sailors used to think that the manatees in Florida were mermaids or sirens. I mean, they're adorable. Who doesn't like a manatee?
Right?
Have you ever seen the show Disenchanted?
No.
It's
No.
it's an online series, animated, very much like not Simpsons, the other the Futurama.
Oh wait, yes, I have.
Okay,
I
and
think it was on Netflix. Where
they
it was.
keep coming back to the Mermaid Island and the Manatee Island, and they've got it mixed. So the mermaids are the manatees, and the manatees are the mermaids.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like Greenland and Iceland.
Yeah.
Says Dad says for Rick, noises 2 different sources will cancel or amplify each other as they fly past you.
Yeah.
And Londa's seen the show.
Yeah, I watched the first season. I haven't watched past that. But I do, yeah. I did watch that show. I had a thought and I lost it.
Well, I'm trying to figure out. So Succubi, like their incentive is they need certain stuff to survive, or it's a demon making a deal, something like that. What is the reason for a siren?
They eat
Fun.
you. Not really. they eat you.
I mean, yeah, they'll eat you, but obviously they cannot survive solely off of sailors because there's not enough sailors that would feed all of them. So they have other sources of food. So
So-
it's
Favorite seafood?
like DoorDash for them, and they're just like, I don't want to work today.
Yeah, Uber Eats.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's funny.
Without the tip.
So like in the Odyssey, there's a whole siren scene.
Yes.
And basically Odysseus, is that how you say his name?
Odysseus.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So I was like, I don't think that's right. So he wanted to hear the siren song, but obviously that's dangerous because they want to lure you to your death. So what he did was he had his crew tie him to the mast so he could not escape, and then all his crew put like wax in their ears so they couldn't hear anything, and then they drove past the sirens or boated past them, and so sailed.
They're all
I'm not a sailor. I don't spend time on the water. I spend time in pools.
Tide pools.
So they were sailing past them, and Odysseus wanted to, obviously he was like asking for his crewmates to like release him, but they couldn't hear him, so they safely sailed past them. And the whole thing was, if sirens fail to lure the sailors to them, then they die. So all the sirens that had been calling to them died.
Well, that's depressing.
Yeah, well, a lot of it's about death and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
It's a Greek story, right?
It's a great story.
It's a Greek
No,
tragedy. No.
Greek.
I thought you're like, it's a great story. I'm like, no, not really.
I mean,
There's no lesson learned.
I mean, that whole story's lasted for centuries, so it has to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the concept of it. And again, all of it comes back kind of like witches and stuff like that too. Women in power and the patriarchy can't handle it. So they demonize it. Sure. That could be the root of all of it.
I mean, it really could be, honestly, because like, and I've been, there was something, it was a TikTok I watched, and then I was like, I have to look into this more. And it's like really true. Like, so with society was very, when we were nomadic, which every culture was nomadic at some point, women were in charge. They were the ones that were like gathering and taking care of children. They were the bringers of life. So, you know, that's when you have like all the goddess statues of like the voluptuous women. They're the bringers of life. And so they were seen as this they were the height of civilization, basically, and the leaders. And then what happened is we started agriculture. And with agriculture, you needed the strength of men. They have the stronger bodies. And men, and then that created the priest class, which created the control over women. And it was very much a reaction of like, well, we're going to take over and we're going to be better. And so we have to shut the women down. And that's when all the demonization of women, like, that's when the stories of like Lilith and like all these female demons that are always trying to take the power from men, that's when that came around. That's when the patriarchy was established. And I mean, the patriarchy is just so toxic, literally for everybody, men and women. It really is. But that's really, so they're like, agriculture is the worst thing that ever happened to humans, and this is why. And I'm like, I don't know if agriculture is the worst thing, but patriarchy is not great.
Well, anytime you go too far one way or another,
yeah,
the fringes of something is not where you want to be. You want to combine it.
Yeah, you know, extremism on any end is bad. You never want the extremes. So.
It's very similar and very simplified. Literally, Adeline and I were having this conversation right before they left to go to her soccer practice. So like 3 hours ago. And little Addie, if you guys don't know, she's my stepdaughter and she is 9 years old. And she comes up, she goes, do you know why male peacocks are really brightly colored? And I'm like, no, why? Tell me about it. And she's like, it's because the women stay camouflaged and hidden, are the females, and the men have to like look beautiful and entice them, Well, I mean, she didn't use the word entice, but you know what I'm saying?
It's like they have to seduce them.
Well, she was like, then they like court them or something. And I was like, yeah. She goes, why? So why do we have to put on makeup and stuff for boys?
I know, and it's so true throughout the animal kingdom. There's so many where like men, like the males are the ones having to capture the attention of the females, and so they're more brightly colored, and they're the ones because they need to be chosen by the female to breed, and it's like almost like that need to pass on their genetics is more strong in the men because they have to be the ones to try. And I think in a lot of ways that's true for humans, actually, that men are the ones that are way more concerned. And I'm not going to get into politics about this, but men are they're way more concerned about making sure that their genetics are passed on than women are, but they try to flip the story around and make it sound like it's women who want it to happen. So I think we're the ones that have to pretty ourselves up, but I do think that need is stronger in males, in humans as well. From my non-educated observations of watching humans for the past 40 years.
Well, what I'm getting from this is peacocks are the succubi of the bird world.
They'd actually be the incubus.
True. There we go.
There you go. Speaking of, just because we always have to have like one completely off tangent story, when
Only
I
one.
was delivering pizza and I went and helped out at the Ora Valley location, which is very kind of, there's like communities and there's rural areas too. I delivered pizza and this guy was like, he's like, hey, I don't have money for a tip, but would you like a peacock? And I was like, whoa, buddy. And then I realized he meant literally. And I turned around and there was a peacock. He's all like yelling, like squawking at me.
I would have been like, hey, you offered. Yes, I would like a peacock.
I'm like, what am I going to do with a peacock? Crystal, I was living with you at the time.
We could have. There was a lot of room in that apartment. We totally could have had.
But that was
sure
the
their
time we
laws
had
would have an
like 4
issue.
or 5 other people living with us.
So if you look at some of the zoo stuff, they're having issues with peacocks because they're dumb. And they get out and they'll just wander into like a lion enclosure and get eaten.
Oh gosh.
They're dumb.
They're just like, you know what?
I mean, they have big feathers, but a very small head. So
They do. They're a lot of
All the
show.
blood went to their feathers.
They're so loud. He probably wanted to get rid of it. Dude.
Probably it's exotic at least, and I'm sure illegal.
it's legal to have them in some places.
Yeah.
I
Probably
don't know
not
what
an
the
apartment.
places are.
Yeah.
Probably
Probably.
not. I mean,
I'm
it could
sure
have wandered
there's
around our apartment complex. It probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
It
I
was-
mean, it is true. We did kind of have some blackmail over our lady. So
It was like that one time that stork we saw just flying over our place. We're in a desert. Why is there a stork or a pelican? It was a pelican.
a pelican. Londa had some in their neighborhood growing up. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I think we've kind of reached a good point.
Peacocks are the succubi of the bird world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we just
They are.
anyway, Michelle commented, I understand women had to be degraded because they were more protective of children and to cause imbalance.
Hmm.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds like a whole nother discussion right
Yeah.
there.
Like that's like, I mean, we could literally do a whole episode on
we could.
that.
I'm sorry, Michelle, we don't have time for that right now. Literally at the end of it. But please come join us again on another episode. We'll probably go back into topics like this again. It's very possible. Exciting news for our next episode, which is going to be in 2 weeks, which will be the 27th of February. We will actually have Crystal in Tucson with Rikki and I. And we're going to figure out a campfire and actually have campfire.
Yes.
And we're still kind of
S'mores.
pitching,
And s'mores.
and
Yes.
s'mores.
Have
We
to
gotta
have s'mores. It's in your byline.
Literally, yes, I have
So
s'mores.
we'll finally have an episode that includes an actual campfire and s'mores.
Lana says it's her daughter's birthday. Well, now we gotta have birthday cake with s'mores.
Ooh, make birthday cake s'mores.
There we go. Oh man,
Isn't there that chocolate bar that's like a birthday cake flavor?
you
from
can
Hershey's
use a Hershey's birthday cake one.
Yeah.
and there's different marshmallows with just different flavors.
Oh
and stuff
my
too,
gosh.
so I'm sure.
But I was thinking something that might be fun, and I'm sure we're still pitching ideas, but we'll just kind of get everyone's opinion on this. But I was thinking maybe for that we could actually all come with like a cool campfire story.
Yes.
That we could all just kind of share and tell. And I think that would be kind of fun around the campfire. Mike says, safe travels to Crystal. I hope you all have a spectacular week and remember to smile.
Thank
Thank you, Mike. Do you guys have anything else you want to like share or anything or promote or talk about or final thoughts?
Well, I know we still have to secure a date, but an upcoming show that I'm really excited about is we are going to have author Jason B. Dutton on in the next few weeks. He just published a book called How to Dance. And one thing I would like to say about that book is if you're looking for a book that has very good representation of anybody with a disability, it's a really good book for that.
Cool.
Nice.
So that's not something that is out there very, very much. And when I went to pick up my copy, the cashier, like there's a walker on the cover, And then Cashier was like, oh, I need to take a photo of this to remember it for later, because she's just like, I'm always looking for books with good representation. So if you'd like to read the book before we get him on here, he'll be on soon, probably next month. And that's a really good book with some really good disability representation. So I'm excited about that show coming up.
Cool. If you want to send us the Amazon link, Crystal, we can post it on the thread on here.
Okay, yeah.
So that way we can check it out.
Yeah, definitely. I will do that.
We're also in the works of trying to get some more people. I'm trying to get works with a girl who is, she's pretty popular on TikTok and she does a lot of cosplay. And so I'm kind of hoping to get her on here with some of her really cool makeup. And she's really into horror, so she's going to like fit perfectly in here. So I'm trying to get her on the show every now and then. Her name's Talia, and she's just an awesome person. So I'm trying to get her on the show. She said she's going to come on. We just don't know when yet. And if anyone has any ideas or urban tales they want to talk about, or campfire stories, or books they want to talk about, we don't really talk about books too much, and it's kind of in our title, so let's talk about it. But yeah, I'm excited for our next show. Oh, I'm so excited, guys. It's gonna be so fun. I really hope I don't work the next day.
Now we just got to find a way to make sure that we can mic it and everything.
Yeah, well, we'll probably have like our own little. Well, I have my iPad, so I can hold my iPad, so we could all just like be on it or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
We'll get it figured out before show.
We'll get it figured out. Yeah, and if you're new to our show, you'll quickly learn we have a lot of technical difficulties. So,
so it's not like it'll be done.
Mike goes, JK, roll it for your show. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be amazing. All right, guys. Well, it was good talking with everyone. It was good having everyone back, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.